Today, we're discussing the most amazing characters NetherRealm has ever made, according to me, because one committed commenter has been asking for weeks on every single video. Now for some added challenge, I'm only allowed to pick one character from each game, and I want you to do the same in the comments below. Tell me about your favorite character in every NetherRealm game, and also make sure to subscribe if you're new, and if you enjoy the video, make sure to smash that like button. Without any further ado, let's get started. So first up, we have Mortal Kombat 9, and with this game, I had to do some real soul searching because when this game came out, I still didn't really understand fighting games that well. I didn't know what it meant to be plus on block or safe on block. I just knew that combos were really hype and I wanted to do them. I wanted to have good mobility, good projectiles, all that stuff. And that's why I gravitated to Reptile in this game. For starters, you can loop his projectiles to keep the combo going and then end with the slide. That's a very basic combo, but little kid me had a lot of fun with it. And then on top of that, his projectiles were godlike too, because most projectiles, they stagger the opponent or maybe they knock him down. Not Reptile's force balls. These launch the opponent and they go all the way to you and then you uppercut him to finish the combo. Once again, not very much damage, but high school me was in love with this. And as I got better at the game, I realized, oh, instead I can do a short string into the force ball and then end with an uppercut, or I can end with the string and then go into the slide. It was so much fun. But then I started to watch pro tournaments and I learned something very amazing about Reptile that could only happen in MK9 back when NetherRealm didn't really know what they were doing, because Reptile has this move, his back forward 2. And what made this move so amazing in MK9 is that it recovers almost instantly, which means you dash right in the opponent's face and then just start attacking. Or even better, you can use the move mid-combo to keep things going. It's not the easiest skill to master, but once you learn it, it's so much fun and the combos do even more damage. And then finally on the opponent's wake up, you can just do it over and over again and it looks crazy hype. I remember watching Chris G do this back in the day and my jaw was on the floor. I couldn't believe the mobility this character had, especially after knocking down the opponent, just dance on top of them. But then we have the meter burn option, so check out what his projectiles do when you hold them down with some meter. Look at that, it's a super slow force ball just creeping up on the opponent and almost impossible to jump over. And as a result, you can do stuff like this, charge it up, and then run in front of it and just bully the player, which I did all the time. But then you had the fast force ball, and if you meter burn this thing, it was huge and went crazy fast. It was just hilarious how quick this thing traveled across the screen. Not to mention, you were pretty safe while summoning it as well, unless the opponent had a teleport, because trying to jump over that thing was super risky. And then of course the invisibility. Reptile can turn invisible, but even better, he gets a damage buff in this state. Now it's not easy to combo like this because you can't see your own character's animations. However, even so, Reptile has an overhead and he has a low, and he's invisible while doing them, so the opponent has a really tough time blocking it. So even if you didn't have the combos mastered, you can still go for the mix-ups over and over again. And yeah, you can see the overhead, but online this game was garbage, so there was no reacting to this thing. Once again, I played a lot of characters in Mortal Kombat 9. I also loved Melina, I loved Katana, and especially Sub-Zero, but I feel like Reptile was my first love, and he's so flexible in this game, a very versatile fighter. He's got great projectiles, insane mobility, and his combos are crazy fun and consistent. Oh, and I almost forgot that his X-Ray just blows through projectiles, so if you hated Keep Away as much as I did and had X-Ray, just blow right through it and say F the opponent. That's one more reason to love Reptile. And now it's time for Injustice, and in this game, I made a guide for every single character on my channel. And as a result, I became fairly familiar with everybody. However, even so, eventually I settled on Killer Frost because this character is a Swiss Army knife. She has literally everything. Plus, look at her. She is amazing. And when you love how your character looks, that's a very special thing. But yeah, I'm not joking when I say this character has everything. And I believe one of the most absurd things she has is a slide that is safe on block and it extends combos as well. So very high reward and no risk whatsoever. In fact, not only was her slide safe, but she also had an instant parry. It started up in 1 frame, so she could spin the bar and then punish you just for trying to take your turn back. And then once Frost hit you, her combos were just so much fun. Even the basic combos did over 30% and they just looked so fun and stylish. And then if you had even 1 bar of meter, you were easily getting around 40%. But the combos got much crazier for this character because once she had her trait fully charged, she could just keep doing the can over and over and over again. It was absolutely insane, and the damage you got was godlike. And once again, it didn't cost you any meter unless you just wanted to spend it. And because we're playing Injustice, you just know this character was a mix-up monster. She had a low that led to a full combo, and she had one of the fastest overheads in the entire game. Seriously, her forward 3 was no joke. It was downright instant. If you were playing online, this move was 100% unreactable, but even offline, I don't think most players can react to this thing. And then on top of that, she had dirty cross-up shenanigans like this, so yeah, she was a mix-up machine. Instant overhead and an instant low, both of which led to a full combo. And then for no reason whatsoever, NetherRealm also gave her a command grab, which is unblockable. And then if she spent the bar, it would hold you in place to extend combos. Yeah, when it came to offense, this character was absolutely amazing. She had everything that I wanted. Once again, she's a Swiss Army knife. And usually when a character is this good up close, they suffer from a distance, but that's not the case for Killer Frost. She could track your location instantly. It didn't even require you to aim the move. She just catches you. If you meter burn it, she can just do it twice. Or if she's closer, she just gets a full combo. And she also threw 2 projectiles at once by default, which meant she could break armor very easily, even from far away. So yeah, it's one more great thing to have. And then once again, for no reason whatsoever, NetherRealm also gave her an air dash, which meant she had access to godlike cross-ups, and once again, she could avoid keep away and zoning from most characters because she could just stay in the air. Finally, for the last nail in the coffin, her super tracked the opponent's location as well, and it did a decent amount of damage. It also hits low. I forgot about that, so it's a mix-up if you're a beginner because you don't know that it hits low. And don't forget, the Killer Frost did not need meter for any of her combos, and as a result, she had super meter all the time. Now, believe it or not, I don't think that Killer Frost was considered crazy good in this game, which just shows you how busted the top tier characters were, but at the same time, she didn't have any terrible matchups, and in my opinion, could handle most characters in one way or another. And now it's time for Mortal Kombat X, and this was the first time where I fell in love with the character during the trailer. I didn't even have to play the character. I saw Melina's gameplay, and I was like, yep, I love this character. Her animations are godlike. I mean, for crying out loud, just look at this neutral jump punch. She does a splits while spiking a volleyball. It looks amazing. And then you have this move where she takes your face for a ride. Look at that. She just sits you on you. The disrespect. This character is beating your butt and having a great time while doing it. And then in the Ravenous variation, her animations got even better. She just chomps on you, and then you extend it for more damage. Nom nom nom. Oh, I love it so much. Such a good animation. It's so satisfying when you nail the input to get more damage. Oh, it's so great. And then don't forget about the strings. She has this one right here. Stabby stab and then kick. It's amazing and not as much damage, but once again, the animation is just so much fun. Look how acrobatic this character is. She's so satisfying to play. And honestly, the low pounce was even better. Just look at this. She breaks your arms and then once again, she sits on your face. This character just loves to disrespect you and drop those cheeks on your head. It's so amazing. I love her. As you can see, the main reason I fell in love with this character was her amazing animations, but thankfully for me, she was also really good as well. She started off being okay, but then as the game went on, she got better and better, and I think by the end, she was considered top tier by a lot of players. And it's easy to see why. Her overhead has godlike range and it starts combos. Her low is much faster and also starts off combos. Her projectiles were pretty good, especially in the piercing variation. She had a godlike teleport that could punish you pretty much anywhere on screen, and then to try to punish her, she could do a sigh and catch you trying to press buttons. It was amazing. And then at a higher level of play, she had this string, the heel stomp. Look how much meter this thing builds on block, and I think when the game first came out, she built even more meter with this thing. So already that's pretty amazing, but check this out. It also ends in a low, and her meter burn ball roll is an instant overhead, and as a result, every time you blocked her, she had an instant 50-50. You had to guess. There was no way to fuzzy this thing. And then we have her piercing variation, which was the most popular for a very long time, and there's a few reasons why. For starters, her projectile. Not only does it hit low for a decent mix-up, but Melina herself can avoid projectiles while throwing it. And then Melina also got access to a restand as well, which was already good at mid-screen, but in the corner it was even better, because if the opponent's left standing, that means their wake-up options are completely gone. And then of course the damage was just better in this variation. Look at that one string by itself, 17% damage, and it was her go-to way to end a lot of her strings. Look how close it leaves the opponent, so not just crazy damage, but great pressure as well. And then we have Ethereal, which is by far the most difficult variation to master, but it gave you the most combo routes, the best hit confirms, and then finally one of the best wake-ups in the game. Nah, scratch that. One of the best wake-ups in NetherRealm history. It's just that good. If you want to see a video on that covering the best wake-ups, I'll put it on screen right now. After I learned every character in the game and just got better at fighting games in general, I gravitated towards this variation because of how complicated and satisfying it was. I always try to learn combos that are difficult, that way I'm one of the few players online who are actually doing them. And even so, Mileena is still my favorite character in Mortal Kombat X overall, but not due to how good she was, it was just the animations themselves that made me fall in love with this character. And now it's time for Injustice 2, and in this game, my true love is Black Canary. And I've already made an entire video devoted to just this character that I highly recommend you check out, but for now I'm gonna keep things short. First up, this character has one of the most unfair mix-ups I have ever seen. She has a mid into an overhead and then a mid into a low, but here's where it gets unfair. You can choose to delay the low to make the timing identical to the overhead, and as a result, it is impossible for the opponent to memorize the timing of the mix-up. They have to guess as long as you choose to delay that low option. And then once you land either of these mix-ups, it's Combo City. However, unfortunately, Black Canary did not do the best from far away. She had 0 projectiles, but she did have this cool front handspring, which also doubled as a mix-up, and she could cross over the opponent, all that cool stuff. And then once you waited long enough, you gained access to her level 3 Canary Cry, which was full screen and stunned the opponent long enough to jump in for a full combo, which is fairly strong. However, unfortunately, it did not destroy projectiles on screen, which meant if she traded, she didn't get a very good combo, and a lot of the time she wouldn't get combos at all. And then finally, we have the parries. She has one for high and mid attacks, which if she spins the bar, she can get a full combo going. But then we have her low parry, which is one of my favorite things in all of fighting games. So check this out. If you land the low parry, she leaps into the air, and on the way down, she can do a jump in to start off combos. How sick is that? This has got to be one of my favorite parries in all of fighting games. The animation is just so incredibly sick. So not only did Black Canary have an insanely unfair mix-up, but she also had some godlike parries, both of which could start combos, and her Canary Cry was awesome as well. Once again, I am barely scratching the surface on why I love this character, so I highly recommend you check out the video on screen right now. It goes into way more detail about why Black Canary is one of the best up-close fighters that NetherRealm has ever made, so once again, I highly recommend you check it out. And then finally, we have Mortal Kombat 11. When the game first came out, I fell in love with Frost, simply because we hadn't seen her in forever. And then at one point, I was in love with Jackie, because she also had some really good combos and great rushdown, and then when we got Variation 3, she was by far one of the most satisfying characters to watch and play as. However, with all that said, Jackie's not my favorite character either. No, my favorite character in Mortal Kombat 11 at this point in time is Shao Kahn. I was trying to make this guy work even back when he was considered terrible at the start of the game. The poor guy had flawless blocks everywhere, and that hasn't gone away, but NetherRealm has given him a bunch of other things. He has more armor breaks than most characters, and his combo damage has just gone up and up. And then on top of that, his options on block have gotten better as well. They got rid of some of the annoying restand glitches, so overall just a way more solid character. He still has all the gaps and a lot of flaws, but man, when it comes to combos, there's no one better. And at the end of the day, combos are one of my favorite aspects of fighting games. So when a character's combos are satisfying and fun to watch and just fun to execute and they go on forever, that's gonna be one of my favorite characters. And not to mention, it's Shao Kahn. This guy's not going to be playable in future games. I can guarantee you that. We finally get to play as a boss character in a competitive Mortal Kombat game. That is so sick. Once again, Shao Kahn was not my first pick for favorite character, but where the game is right now, I do believe he is my favorite character to play. The combos are just too much fun and they sound satisfying, they look amazing, all that awesome stuff. Not to mention his block pressure is so much fun too. I love doing forward 4 and then a short hop. They never expect it, it catches them every time, especially now since hop attacks beat most crouching attacks. So if the player tries to mash, they just get caught by the overhead. And then once you have the opponent scared, you can just go for throws, which they almost never see coming, or just go for the old-fashioned forward 3-4 into the unblockable, or forward 3-4 into the spear stab to get the combo going. It's already a frame trap, so if they mash, they're gonna get caught for a full combo, and then after they start blocking, it's a 50-50. If they guess wrong, they get comboed or they get thrown. So there you have it, everyone. My favorite characters in every single NetherRealm game. My god, this thing is going to be a nightmare to edit, so please leave a like down below if you enjoyed the video. It really does help my channel out a ton. And then keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell. That way you never miss any future videos. Let me know your favorite character in the comments down below. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.